Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Leading Crypto. I'm your host, CVO Crypto, today, and we're going to be going over Ethereum, ALGO, as well as CRO, Crypto.com, really briefly today. Really nice, short and sweet update for you. Not too much has changed from yesterday as far as Ethereum would go, and going to just kind of take a look and see what the market is doing for us. So here with Ethereum, right? If you saw yesterday's update, we are literally still within the same little region here, right? So there's been, a couple of short-term intraday moves, as you can see here, where we're seeing some pretty short moves to the downside and to the upside, about 4 to 5% actually. So some really nice moves here, just short term, right? So it doesn't look like much in this little, area. You can be looking at this potential bear flag, however you want to view it. At the moment, I'm looking at this in the sense of, once again, got your daily open right here. We are losing that at the moment. Right, potential back test here. You do have the VWAP just below. Still have our untapped weekly pivot for this week coming in about $1,500 just below. So this is a high statistical hit rate, right? This is about an 80% hit rate that we're going to come back and meet this within the week. Just below that, we've got our 6-month pivot. So a very high time frame average of price just below. Obviously, we have met that. This was one of our major targets as we actually came up, rooted around here for a bit, got the reclaim, and off we went. And then below that is actually last week's pivot, which was not met. So even though it does have a high hit rate, there is still a chance, right? 20 to 30% that we do not hit it in that same week. So big area to the downside, 1260 does align with the local gold pocket also. All this we covered yesterday, just kind of giving a really brief update here for anybody that may have missed it. But you have the local gold pocket right here from low to high. Does align well with that previous week pivot also. I believe this is our last week's value area low as well. I'll just throw that on there. There we go. So you got the previous week range right here, right? So you can see the gold pocket actually is previous week low and value area low. So a lot of confluence in that region if we start making our way back down, back towards about 1260 at least as an initial target zone. Obviously, there's some stair steps in the way. As far as any more upside would go, still looking for potentially, up to the 1700s, right? So we were looking at an old range here that we've been trading within. And you can see here that we've essentially came in and hit the brakes right at the point of control, right? So right here in this region, that's about 1577. This is also, once again, daily open basically at this point. So flip this region, and then you have a chance to not only challenge the current high, you got the highs back here from November, essentially the FTX time frame. And then we've got the overall value area high at 1777. This is also a pretty big horizontal area of resistance as well. And you have another local high here. So to come through this region, right? Because at the moment, I think that everybody really is anticipating, a pullback, which is something you should like. This is definitely a really risky area to be entering anything. So if you already have positions, this is the idea where you could try to let it ride, see if we get this push higher. Otherwise, you may, if you're out of a position, aside from just holding spot, your long-term holds and things of that nature. You may want to be considering looking for some short opportunities around these regions. Short-term intraday, obviously we have our validations and confirmations that if we do flip this region, then, there's potential for a really nice move up to this area. Stop loss just below, obviously daily open, things of that nature. And then this would actually offer up a pretty decent little move, right? And this is, once again, a short-term play. But that's potentially 12% if we get a move up to this value area high. And I would imagine that we would come up and do something along the lines of this, right? You come up and you actually, push higher past this region, get a little slight deviation out of the range. And then at that point, you really want to be paying attention, setting your alerts, because you have one of two things. You push through and get the reclaim of this overall area. Now you are targeting our untapped yearly pivot just above about $2,000. Otherwise, and something that's potentially more likely in the short term here, just because we've had nothing but an upside run. However, it doesn't have to stop here. You could be looking for a push higher, break back in, get the back test back within the range, and then down we go, right? You'd be targeting back to the point of control, and then potentially, down to some of these other areas we've been looking for. So that would be the initial idea here for Ethereum. Like I said, yesterday's video covers it pretty well also. So I won't spend too much more time because we pretty much are exactly where we were yesterday. So I'm not going to take up too much of your valuable morning here. I did want to look at just a couple of altcoins as well. So yesterday we were looking at one, right? In the trading group, I put this setup here while we were actually living outside this range. We were looking for the potential reclaim. And then at that point, we're looking at point of control. There's only two targets, really, point of control and just the value area high. So a basic range rotation, essentially. So that's exactly what we got. So even just from the overall value area low to the high, this was a 55% move pretty quickly over the course of about a day. So at this point is looking for potential, unless we start breaking back above this region. So once again, if you're not in a position, this is an area A where, if you want to be, taking some profits, locking in some gains, paying yourself essentially. Potential here to pull back, if we do, is all the way back down in golden pocket, which is also basically the range low. So we would just be essentially rotating the range back down to the downside. Obviously, you got the point of control just above here at 14.5 cents, give or take. But that is definitely, on the cards here to get a nice little pullback here out of one. For upside, it's really just flipping 20 cents, right? So flip 20 cents into support, and then, off we'll go. The two that I wanted to look at, crypto.com. So another that we had this set up in the group for quite a bit. It came down to a high time frame area of support right here. This is also now your last quarter's range. You can see here that we've broke out. Go ahead and box this off a little bit, make it look a little clear. All right. So same deal as, a lot of these other altcoins. You got the full on range rotation. So at the time, obviously, you're looking for the reaction here to get the breakout. Now we got the back test of the high, moving on up to our next area, our next level of support and resistance coming in right here at essentially 0.078. Looking to get that claim here at the moment. And then from there, looking to actually challenge this up to our previous range just above us, which is also our local gold pocket from our high from November down to our current low. And that is right here at about 10 cents. Now, the thing is with this is that, if things are still getting kind of squirrely for the altcoins, let's just look and see how far this has rallied already. Seen a decent rally out of CRO. I mean, 40, 50% is no joke out of a lot of these altcoins right now. Thing is, though, is we push back up to this range. This gold pocket obviously is a major target. You got your range low, but I'm going to be paying attention to see. And once again, we're coming to a time frame where the whole market is kind of at risk of getting a pullback. So it's not, it's really that like last move, in my opinion, or that last leg of, upside. Granted, they can be pretty explosive, right, to kind of trap and trigger people to jump in right at the end. But if we do get back inside this range just above us, right, so range low is essentially that next area to kind of come up and reclaim. It's essentially your gold pocket also. We do have a point of control all the way up at 17 cents. Not saying it's a guarantee by any means, but just something to kind of, be aware of. And, we can see a lot of times where we'll break back into these ranges and get a very, very quick, vast move up this region, especially with the market the way it is right now. But that would be a pretty epic, run up. I think that's another 100% at this point. Obviously, there'll be some news going along with it. I obviously don't know what that would be, but if that was the case, so just know that if we get this, a quick and big run to potentially 17 cents, that is a major target up there. Definitely not an area to be buying if you were. If we even get it, very speculative idea at this point. But short term, looking for the move from where we are to basically 10 cents, right? That's the main takeaway, right? So potential 20% move up in this region without leverage. But if things get out of hand, right, we get back in this range, get the reclaim, potential to move our way back up to 17 cents is there, right? So just pointing that out there. And ALGO is the other one I want to take a look at. So same thing, right? So we were identifying ALGO as we were, beneath the range here. I think one of the gentlemen in our group, Twin, shout out to him, had identified that this was actually a low from back in the summer. We basically came back and back tested. So shout out to him. I was actually looking for just a little bit lower here at like 15.4 cents. But he did identify that low at 16 cents. So from there, obviously we got our turnaround. We ran it back up. We had a couple of levels in between. Now we were breaking back into the range, and you got that back test reclaim right here. We do have our overall point of control, which is a major target for us, a volume target just above. Front ran it just a bit, so it's going to be interesting to see if we come back for it. If we do not, right, if you start pulling back from here, it did kind of overlay a local gold pocket from low to high. It does overlap with a untapped weekly pivot from last week. So a high statistical hit rate for that. First rule or first note of defense would be actually coming back down and losing 21.7 cents. So essentially breaking back down from this range. However, we did break back into this pretty nicely. So I still would anticipate a little bit more upside, a little bit push to the upside here. Got that point of control at 24 cents, an untapped quarterly pivot. So high time frame average comes up here at 26. And then we have a couple of other areas that if we were to just rotate this range in full, once again, not a guarantee by any means, but potential for, another 55% move here. These areas in between here are, at least at the moment, your next likely targets, whether or not they're going to happen overnight or over time, and they start to get invalidated once you start breaking back down from 21.6. So I hope that makes sense, right? So these are not like intraday trades. These are potentially weeks and maybe even a month or so to get up to these levels. We've already seen a pretty decent rally, obviously, same as many, 48%. Bring that up because you can really get that last little push before that market pull down, and you get a really brief 20 or 30% last impulse. Just kind of be aware of your targets. Have a strategy in play, and your targets may be different than mine. These are my targets, so this is just what I'm looking at for algo. Not an area to buy, obviously. You've already wanted to be kind of positioned, or at least, scale. I mean, we are at the range low, however. So when you're looking at the idea of, positioning yourself towards support, we are in that region and kind of a little bit away from it at the moment. And then for the rest of the market, we have seen some major impulses, of something to keep in mind. But that is all I've got for you all today. I just want to kind of keep it short and sweet. Be sure to tune in later on this morning for the Bitcoin analysis update with Magic and Max. They'll be going on at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you all are interested in joining the leading crypto Discord server and having real-time access to our analysis, our updates, member-only market updates, as well as the 15 video step-by-step academy, information for that is below. Otherwise, I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Until next time, cheers.